So JD, another thing that stood out to me today, we in the opener we kind of mentioned the offense, and you kind of mentioned the weather. Do you think the weather kind of played a part of the offense not looking as sharp as it usually is? You're seeing a lot of balls drop. That Justin Watson dropped a few. MVS couldn't get that foot down. We're seeing the most 3-and-outs we've had in a single game this season in this one too. So, do you think the weather played a factor in that, or what do you think about that?
No doubt about it. And I said this on the show last week. I said, man, when you throw in cold weather, people don't understand how hard that ball is to catch. Like you could feel it. I mean, it's like a rock hitting your hands, and your hands are already numb because of the wind chill, of course, and how cold it is. And then you had to catch this big old ball that feels like a boulder in your hand. That's tough. And not to mention, Pat is throwing it with a little bit of velocity behind that thing too, man. So it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant at all. And so that definitely goes into it. And I'm thinking every little snap that they were doing, I'm seeing guys, I can just remember being out there in that type of cold weather, and how much you really didn't want to be out there, but you still toughen it out. And when you go 3-and-out, you go on the sideline like, dang, I'm ready for this thing to be over, right? You waiting to get on that warm bench. You can't wait to get the little heater beside you, so you see all the guys huddling around, the heater and sitting back and they feet warm. So, man, it's miserable. It is. It's miserable. I know it's miserable for the fans who's out there who's not even running around. So, just multiply that by getting hit hard, right, while you're doing it. So, yeah, that weather definitely played a factor. No doubt about it. But
yeah, I think the weather played a factor too, JD. But here's the thing I will say. When it comes to particular players like Justin Watson, I think this is something that I am a little concerned about because of the fact that last week against the Texans in a dome in 75, 80-degree weather, he drops that 56-yard pass. I'm not expecting perfection, but when you're a fringe player, when you're a guy out there that's getting opportunities because other players are down with injuries like Mecole Hardman and Kadarius Toney was on a snap count last week, you got to make those catches, man. And I know that today, like you said, it's like catching a damn granite ball out there. Like it's going to be hard to bring some of these passes down. I know that's the case, and I won't crush somebody for that. But when it's becoming a trend, when you're playing in places that aren't dealing with this types of climates, I have to pay attention to that. And I think today the Chiefs definitely could have utilized Mecole Hardman. I'm not going to crush again. I'm not going to crush the Chiefs too much on offense because again the climate was bad, and they still ended up blowing out the Seahawks, if we're being honest, because even that other touch, the one touchdown the Seahawks got was garbage time. So the Chiefs really won by 21 points. At the same time, man, I want to see Mecole Hardman back because you see the way his athleticism, his quickness, his ability to score in the red zone, especially this season, has been such a key asset to the Chiefs moving the ball and getting scores on these early drives. And that's what they definitely need to get next week. I think he'll play against the Broncos. It does sound like it's happening. He's been practicing all week, but getting him those snaps over Justin Watson, getting him an opportunity over those guys, I think those balls are getting caught over a Justin Watson. I know Justin Watson's not a guy that's supposed to save the offense, but when you're a guy like that that's out there to try to make your presence known and get your few opportunities, you got to make the most of it. And unfortunately, Justin wasn't able to do that.
No, look, man, I'm going to be fair about this, okay? All right, and I know you are, saying that, but I look at it like this. Okay, Justin Watson, who doesn't get a lot of balls to him. I mean, we see guys who are starting who misses, they miss balls. So the thing is, I wouldn't necessarily it's a trend. Like the one he missed in Houston was a tough catch. It really was. Like he probably, he should have caught it, right? Because we're thinking, expecting everybody to catch the football, right? This one, no doubt about it, he should have caught this. But I don't think it's an issue. I think he has great hands. I don't really have any problem with him. I'm not worried about him. We know we're going to get Mecole back. We know who's going to be the 5 guys, starting before Justin Watson. It's not taking anything away from him. It's just, MVS, JuJu, Mecole Hardman. You're going to have Toney. You're going to have Sky Moore, right? Then Justin Watson will come in. All these guys are going to play a part. So I don't necessarily worry about him. He made the team for a reason, and they trust him. And so I want to sit there and get on a guy and say, well, he should have come. Yeah, every ball this guys hit, they should catch. I mean, I've seen, Travis Kelce, we've seen him miss balls too, right? And fumbles. So these things do happen. I'm just, I don't harp on that as much. Look, I just know catching the football, how hard it is, especially in that type of weather. I want to be fair to him. I'm not going to sit there and say it's a trend. You're saying, I'm just, hey, when it comes up in a tough game, obviously when the things you're looking for, he's definitely got to produce, so.
I will say, if you remember the off season when we signed MVS, people brought up drop issues coming from Green Bay, and Justin Watson too. People brought up his drop issues that he had in Tampa. That's why Brady didn't want him around anymore. So I mean, some of these guys we're pointing to do have a history of it, and obviously today.
Is that what Brady said? Hold on, you said Brady said he didn't want him around anymore.
Well, no, I don't know if Brady said that, but if Brady wants a guy around, he'll keep a guy around, right?
Yeah. Brady, I want this guy around anymore. I want him as far away as possible. Okay, so send him on the West Coast, wherever he is, get him away from me. So let's mess with him, man. It's Christmas. Let's have a good Christmas holiday cheer, baby.
Yes, sir. Chalk it up to the weather being the way it is. I mean, I was watching some of these games. Amari Cooper had a wide open drop in the end zone in that Browns and Saints game, and that I think it was a little bit colder over there in Cleveland, but still, I mean, you're seeing the awful weather all over the place, and you're seeing drops. And drops are going to happen, especially in the frigid weather that we have, and especially when you have an offense who throws it 45 times in weather like this too. So I mean, it's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.